And we are back. This is part 2 of, and I forgot to mention which chat it is. This is part 2 of chat number 140, which is titled, I titled it, The Habit Loop, Find Your Sitting Solution. So this is part 2. This is the extra credit portion, and this will be posted as a separate video. Quick survey. Quick survey. Casey wants to know, do you all still want her to post? She is still going to post it as 2 videos, but she wants to know, do you want the meeting portion to be one 30-minute video and then the extra credit portion to be one 30-minute video, or do you still want the meeting portion to be the full thing and then just the extra credit portion as a 30-minute video? So y'all are going to have to figure out some way to tell her that, because I don't know, and she's busy with Alyssa right now, so she's probably not even still here. Okay, but this is part 2 of chat number, and I already forgot what the number is, 140? Yes, chat number 140. We're going to be talking about portions. So, we've had a lot of questions about portions, a lot of questions about serving sizes, a lot of questions about how do you know, Okay, and Casey Betty says 30 and 30. I'm not going to read off every single one of them, but maybe we'll get a chance to go back through, and kind of tally them, or if somebody could kind of keep track of it for me, that would be awesome. That would be so awesome if somebody could keep track of it for me. So, anyway, so we're talking about, and remember the choices are the full video, like the full hour as one, and then the extra credit as 1 minute. So do you want a 1 hour and then the extra credit is 30 minutes, or do you want a 30-minute and a 30-minute? So, okay, so I think that'll help her. Anyway, we've got a lot of questions about portion control, and a lot of questions about serving sizes and things like that. So, okay, why is this important? Is it important? Does anybody care? Does anybody care what a serving size is? Does anybody care, how much they're eating? I mean, we have freestyle now, so we have so many things that are 0 points. Does it matter what a serving size is? And the answer is yes. Yes, it matters very much what the serving size is, even things that are 0 points. So let's talk about serving sizes and portion sizes. So there is a difference. I was just kidding. I was kidding when I said, do we even care? So there is a difference. A serving size is a standardized amount. So what you see on the back of containers, that's a serving size. So that's a standardized amount. And it's standardized so that they can say that this amount has this many calories, this many, this recommended this much, or like this much sodium, or a certain percentage of your, your daily intake of X, Y, and Z, whether it's calories or sodium or potassium or vitamins or whatever. So it's a standardized amount. A portion size is the amount of food that you might choose to eat. So a portion could be more or less. So a serving size, again, is standardized. So a serving size doesn't matter. Yeah, Debbie, exactly. We're coming back. I'm not going to talk about being sick, but we're going to come back around to that. So a serving size is standardized, meaning if you are 4'6" and you weigh 85 pounds, a serving size is still a serving size because it is a standardized amount. So 4'6" and what did I say, 85 pounds, or if you're 6'6" and weigh 285 pounds, a serving size is a serving size is a serving size is a serving size is a serving size. So that is it's a standardized amount. A portion size is what you might choose to eat. So someone who's 4'6" and 85 pounds might choose to eat a smaller amount of food than someone who is 6'6" and 285 pounds. Does that make sense? So everything that we talk about in WW, everything that you should find in any nutritional label, in any recipes and things like that, a serving size should be a standardized amount. We're going to talk about recipes tonight and how to determine a serving size in a recipe, but I'm going to show you how you can adjust a portion size for you. Okay, so that's the difference between a serving size and a portion size. Again, a serving size is standardized. A portion size is going to be dependent on you. It's how much you care to. It's how much you care to to eat. Okay, so Loretta, don't worry about this for soups and chilies and things like that. We're going to talk about that here in just a second. Okay, so for a serving size, how do you know if a standardized serving is enough for you? here's what I'm going to say. Eat 1 serving. So, unless you're the teeny tiny person and you don't need a whole serving, but eat whatever the standardized serving is. So, like, let's say if you're eating, I don't know, I'm going to pick beans. So, because I love beans. So, if you're eating beans, a serving size of beans is 1 cup. But if you think, oh gosh, I'd like to have some more. Like if you eat a cup of beans, whether you're eating them alone or if you're eating them with something else, but you think, oh man, I'd like to have some more beans. I'm still hungry. And if you still feel hungry, then go have maybe a second serving or maybe a half of a second serving, but go back and have some. So that would be your portion size. So like for me, a 1 cup of beans, unless I'm having it with something else, like if I'm at Cracker Barrel and I'm having it like with some grilled chicken and, something else, one serving of beans is not going to be enough for me. So I'm probably going to go back, if we're at home and get a second one. And, and beans are 0 smart points. So there's nothing wrong with eating more beans. Just don't, go crazy. Don't eat more than a serving size at a time unless you think about it. You just have to stop and think about it. So I'm going to say start with a serving, a standardized serving, and then get more if you want your portion to be more. But you have to count it. Remember, whatever you decide your portion is does not eliminate the serving size. It does not eliminate that. Okay, so a few things. We talk about these first couple of things I'm going to show you. We talk about over and over and over and over and over again. Okay, we've talked about this so many times. First of all, you have to make sure if you are going to know what a serving size is, you've got to get yourself some tools. You don't have to go out and spend a lot of money. You can use some things that you probably already have at home. I'm going to show you these again. We do have these in the showroom at KC Kitchen Center, and they're online at kckitchencenter.com. These are really pretty serving spoons. If you're having people over, or if you just want to, kind of kick it up a notch, you can use something like this. They're stainless steel serving spoons, really pretty with the, kind of the scrolled handle, but they are in cup sizes. So you could use these, for your measuring too and your serving, so you don't have to sit and think, I don't know. I am not going to sit and take a measuring cup and measure out like, a 1 cup of mashed potatoes or 1 cup of macaroni and cheese or 1 cup of rice or 1 cup of whatever, if I'm serving myself out of something that's finished. But I would totally use something like this. So if you don't have something like this, you can use other things that you have at home. This we have talked about over and over and over again. Take some objects that you already have at home. If you don't want to spend money on measuring utensils, take some objects that you already have at home and figure out how many ounces, tablespoons, cups it is. So this little cup, I have a whole bunch of these. Can't even tell you where I got them, don't remember where I got them, but these are, if you fill them up to here, if you fill them up to underneath this rim, that's 2 tablespoons. But if I fill it to the top, that's 3 tablespoons. Okay, so if the serving size is 2, if a serving size is 2 tablespoons, I have to know that if I use this little cup, because we use this for like the G. Hughes sugar-free honey mustard, which Orlando Debbie, yeah, it's really popular at our house. But I have to know that with these little cups that I have a ton of here at the loft, that if I stop just underneath this ridge, that is 2 tablespoons, which is a serving. If I go to the top, which it's tempting to fill it all the way to the top, that's 3 tablespoons. So I have to count that or just be aware of it. And if I've got points for it, and if I want 3 tablespoons, that would be a portion size. Okay, does that make sense? Also, just find little objects that you have around the house and figure out what they hold. How do you figure out what they hold, you ask? Kelly is going to show you. So these are just little silicone baking cups that I have at home, but I do use these a lot on other plates to put things in. So if it's something that I'm going to eat less of, it's going to be a smaller amount, then I use these. I have these little glass bowls that I got, I think, at World Market. And yes, Debbie, we love it. That I got at World Market. So what I do with these, if I didn't know, then I would take, and I'm gonna try not to spill this on everything. So this is 1 cup. This is a half of a cup. So this is a half of a cup measuring cup. This is this little glass bowl that I have at home. And look, so if I stop again, just below the rim, that's a half of a cup. So I know now that when I use these, that as long as I don't mound it up and as long as I don't go up to the very top, that's a half of a cup. And I don't have to measure it every time. I can use these. This one's going to be the tricky one. Okay, these little silicone cups. Whoop. If you start with water, it's a lot easier, but don't try to do it while you're live on Facebook. But anyway, these little silicone cups, that used half of that, or if I had time to turn around and get a fourth of a cup, we would do that. But that's a fourth of a cup. So I know whenever I'm using one of these little silicone baking cups that's a fourth of a cup, and I know when I'm using one of these that it's a half of a cup. Okay, then, so once you use things like that, and you understand, oh, okay, I don't have to get out. So like, I don't have to get out a half of a cup measuring cup every time I want a half of a cup of something. I can just use one of those little glass bowls, and I've got some other bowls that are exactly 1 cup. So if you don't have anything, if you have nothing, and you need to know what the serving size is, you need to know if it's a serving of it. Remember, WW says to use your hand. I also found a really cute one on, it's called Water Tree Health, and they had done it as like a little cartoon, and it was really cute. So the palm of your hand is 3 ounces of poultry, meat, or fish. So, and I know, if you've got ginormous hands, it might be a little bit more, but let's face it, if you have ginormous hands, you probably need to eat a little bit more. But the palm of your hand is about 3 ounces. If you make a fist, that's about 1 cup. So you could use that. If you didn't have anything, to measure with, if you had to guess, you could use this for rice, pasta, fruit, vegetables, ice cream. You could use that to say that was about a cup. Your cupped hand, so your cupped hand like this, that's about a half of a cup. So if you were trying to decide, let's see, I don't know, I want a half of a cup of something, you could use your cupped hand. 2 cupped hands is about 1 ounce. So if you did 2 cupped hands, like if you were going to do pretzels or something like that, you could do that. Your thumb is about 1 ounce. So that's from here to here. I'm sorry, it's from here to here. That's about 1 ounce. So if you were looking at peanut butter or hard cheese or something like that, the tip of your thumb is about a teaspoon. So like cooking oil, mayonnaise, butter, something like that. Okay. So you have it in your hand. You literally have serving sizes in the palm of your hand. Okay, so let's talk about some things in the serving sizes and why that might be important. Okay, let's start with my favorites, the potato, the apples, and the bananas. So at some point we have to eat these because we've been using these for 2 weeks. Well, not these bananas. We have new bananas. But the potatoes and the apples we got to eat because we used these last week too. Okay, this is a small potato. So when you're looking online and you see a small potato, that's a small potato. So it should fit in the palm of your hand. This is a medium potato. See how much bigger it is? See how much bigger it is? And if you have a scale, you could weigh these and you could get, I think Debbie was talking about scales up here a little bit ago. But you can weigh these and you can find out exactly and you can count them correctly. But a small potato will just about fit in the palm of your hand. So this one's going to be more like a medium potato. And then if you're from around here, if you're from East Tennessee and you've got Betty's Barbecue, just know those potatoes are like extra mucho grande. So that's not even a large potato. But that's the difference between a potato. Then we have apples. This, when you look online and it says a small apple is a serving size, so that's a small apple. This is a Nona and Alyssa sized apple. This is like almost 2 servings. So this would be my chosen portion, but I also recognize that I am not eating a small apple. So when I track this, even though it is a 0-point food, when I track apples, if I'm eating this, I put a large apple. If I'm eating this, I put 1 small apple. Just know this is a serving size. This would be my portion size. And Alyssa and I usually end up splitting one, but this is an apple. And it does make a difference because if you ate, 2 of these versus 2 of these, even though they are 0 points, they are not calorie free. They are not free points. They're just 0 points. Okay, the banana is always the shocker. This one is a banana. So that's a regularly sized banana. So that's 1 serving. This one is like an Oak Ridge banana. Look how big this thing is. I'm not even doing it justice by holding it up like that. Look how big this banana is. Okay, back in the day when WW was doing just, I think it was regular points, a half of one of these bananas was 1 point. So this size banana would have been 2 points. That means this size banana would have been 3 points. Would have been 3 points, okay? So this, bananas are 0, but this is 1 serving of a banana. That's like, now, that's like a serving and a half of a banana. Okay, so just pay attention. You know, try not to pick the gargantuan fruit unless you are going to count it as gargantuan fruit. Okay, this one I am famous for. So that is a spoonful of peanut butter. Would everybody agree? Does everybody agree that this is a spoonful of peanut butter? I'll give y'all just a second. Yeah, people from Oak Ridge do know how big things get. So everybody would agree this is a spoonful of peanut butter, right? Okay, so to me, this is the perfect size. Okay, that is a tablespoon and a half of peanut butter. This is a tablespoon of peanut butter. Okay? Minus the, yes, Teresa, yes. Minus the little squib that's around here, but that is a spoonful of peanut butter. So that is 1 spoonful of peanut butter. That is 1 tablespoon of peanut butter. So that's 4 points. So everybody just keep in mind, you have to level it off because it's so easy. Yeah, so everybody's saying level off the spoon. So you all are pros, but there are new people. Oops. There are new people. I mean, Heather says she weighs this too. She weighs peanut butter too. But there are new people who don't know that don't know that they have to level it off. So Gwen, and Barbara says, I want some. So our fearless leader, Gwen, keeps a tablespoon. She has a rubber band and has it like attached to the side of her, her peanut butter jar, so that she has to measure a tablespoon every time. But her years ago, this has been years and years ago, what her husband caught her doing was taking a knife and leveling off the tablespoon. So she had 1 tablespoon and then she was licking the knife. So you all saw how much extra that could be if you used a knife to level that off and then licked the knife, that would be an extra tablespoon. I mean, an extra half of a tablespoon. So that's half of another serving. Now you might choose to have a tablespoon and a half as your portion size, but 1 tablespoon. So if you look at the nutrition content and the nutritional label and the WW, yeah, I know Heather, right? I know she's the smartest person I know. But if you want to look at the nutritional content, or if you want to do, WW, and I've made a mess of this now. Anyway, you got to level it off. Okay, that is a serving. That is 1 serving, not heaped up like that. Another one that I see a lot of, this is another tablespoon. This is a teaspoon. People looking at recipes, I see a lot of people that they're making recipes that they're counting the serving size as a teaspoon. And Alicia says a tablespoon of peanut butter is like a fly speck on bread. If you heat it up a little bit first, I'm not talking much, but if you heat it up a little bit first, and it'll work too if you heat up the bread. Sometimes I'll put the bread in the microwave just, for like 10 seconds, and it warms it up enough that the peanut butter just goes whoosh, and it just smears right on. Or if I'm only going to put it on 1 piece of bread, I'll just put it on half. Instead of trying to smear it over the whole thing and just getting mad, I'll peanut butter half the I'll still warm it up a little bit, half the bread, and then fold it over, because that doesn't make me mad nearly like trying to spread it over the whole thing and it not go anywhere. But anyway, I see people all the time making recipes using a tablespoon but looking up a teaspoon, and I see all these recipes where they're like, oh, it's 0 points, or it's only 1 point, or whatever, and I'm like, no, because you just used 3 tablespoons of whatever instead of 3 teaspoons of whatever it was. So be sure you're looking at the right thing. Tablespoon, most of the time on a recipe, is going to say capital T, little BSP. So a big T, and I'll try to get Casey to put that down here in the notes on the YouTube video. But a tablespoon, most of the time, any normal human being is either going to write a capital T for tablespoon and a little t, a lowercase t for teaspoon, or it's going to be a capital T, lowercase BSP for tablespoon. I think I just said that right. Or in a lowercase TSP, no B. Okay, yeah, so Lynn does it capital T for tablespoon, lowercase TSP for a teaspoon. I would agree with that, Lynn. Anyway, make sure that you're reading that correctly, because that can make a huge difference, Like just in the Trivia baking blend that I use, if I use a teaspoon, it is 1 smart point. If I use a tablespoon, it's very much sweeter, but that's like almost 3 smart points. So that can make a huge difference. So just be sure you know what you're looking at. Okay, capital T for tablespoon, little t for teaspoon. Okay, beware of packaging. This is VT rice. Casey and I love VT rice. It comes in, this one's Thai jasmine. It comes in, there's a long grain wild rice one and basmati. But we love, and thank you, Sherry, for putting that up, and thank you, Debbie, or thank you, Tedros, for putting that up, and Debbie. Anyway, we love this. So normally, and Carol is reminding everybody that 3 teaspoons equals 1 tablespoon. Yeah, so if you get carried away, if you were supposed to have, 1 teaspoon, 3 teaspoons equals a tablespoon. So you might have accidentally just put 3 of whatever was supposed to be 1 teaspoon. Okay, so Casey and I love these, but the back of this, please be careful. So nutrition facts: 2 servings per container. Okay, so in wee tiny type, it says 2 servings per container. On the front of this, it says serves 1 as a meal, 2 or 2 as a side. Okay, that does not mean that you can eat this whole thing as a serving. This is 2 servings. So beware of packaging, because food manufacturers would love for us to each eat, like 1 whole one of these instead of sharing it or splitting it into 2, or whatever, because then they would sell twice as much product. But just beware of packaging, necessarily just, VT, because don't get angry, VT people. I love you. I love VT rice. We eat it all the time. Just beware of packaging and be sure the biggest one, and I don't have this because I was not going to buy it just to show it, but yeah, and Betty makes 3 servings out of it. It makes a lot of rice, so yeah, you could totally make 3. You could make 3 portions out of it. Remember, Betty, it's got 2 servings, 2 standard units of measure in here, 2 servings, but you could make 3 portions, 3 smaller portions out of it. Yeah. So the one thing that I've seen that was a huge fiasco. I think they're called Lenny's maybe, but they're cookies, and they're like this big. And they were, and I'm making up a number, they were like 4 points or something, 3 points, I don't remember, let's say 4 points. And they're like this big. People were buying them and eating them and going crazy, and everybody was loving them. Everybody was loving these cookies, absolutely loving these cookies. And I mean, Angie, I get at Publix and Kroger. Don't remember, I think Food City might have it here. But anyway, so these cookies, everybody was going berserk because these cookies were huge and they were only like 4 points. Okay, but so I bought one years ago. This has been a couple of years ago. I bought one and I was like, man, I want the big cookie that's only 4 points. So, I got it home, I tasted it, it was delicious. It tasted like a regular cookie. It was so good. And I was like, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. How is this only 4 points? And after I ate it, after I had eaten it, no wonder it tasted like a real cookie. It's a real cookie. Lenny and Larry ginormous cookie. Exactly. That's it. That's exactly it, Rosie. Yeah, so the serving size is a half of the cookie. So it's like, and it's not even, it's WW math. So instead of being 4 points for half and 8 for the whole thing, it was in WW math, it was like an extra point. So it was like 9 for the whole thing. Oh my gosh. I was so upset because I was like, I could have just had a regular cookie for 9 smart points. you know? So be careful. Read the packaging before you eat it. So if you wanted a whole Lenny and Larry's ginormous cookie, then if you want a whole one and you've got points for it, then eat it. Just be aware. That is a portion. That is not a serving, because it's 2 servings. 2 servings for that. Okay, real quick. Some things, and Debbie and somebody else have already hit on this, some things are better if you can weigh them. So pasta always is a dry weight. I mean, not dry weight. It's always a dry amount. It's a dry amount for the measurement. So this particular pasta is from Trader Joe's, and it is, and of course I folded it down where I can't see it. Yeah, Titters, my whole day was busted. It was awful. But anyway, okay, so this pasta is 2/3 of a cup dry. Okay, you can't get this shaped pasta. You cannot get this into 2/3 of a cup unless you bust it up. You would never ever figure it out. So what I do, because I don't have a scale, is I've already figured out, like I took one bag the very first time. It has 8 servings in it, and I literally sat and divided it out into 8 servings, and then I put it into something that I could fit that into. So now I know that containment system is a serving dry. You can also measure it cooked, but by the time it's cooked, I'm going to eat it. And weighing, if you have a scale, things like pasta are always better if you weigh them. Debbie and somebody else were just talking about avocado. Avocado's better if you weigh it, because you actually get a little bit more than what it says sometimes, because you know, it just depends on the size of the avocado. So some things are better if you weigh them. Some 0 point things people are tending to get carried away with. So this is carrots. These are baby carrots. Everybody would agree that baby carrots are 0 smart points. I think we would all agree. So, but I see people get bags of carrots like this and just sit down and start eating them. I've done it too. This is a serving size of carrots. So this is 1 serving out of this bag. This bag has 5.5 servings of carrots in it. So if you decide that your portion is going to be an entire bag of baby carrots, that's fine. And yes, it's still 0 points. This is 0 points. This is 0 points. Both of these together is 0 points. But this is 5.5 servings for the whole bag. 5.5 servings of carrots has 192.5 calories. I know it's 0, and I know you expend a lot of, energy eating them, but it's not free. It's just 0. So start with a serving, and if you're still hungry, go back. Start with a serving, and if you're still hungry, go back and make that your portion. Eggs are the same way. Everybody would agree that 1 egg is 0 smart points, right? And that's awesome. That's so fabulous. Everybody would agree that 4 eggs is 0 smart points. But I'm seeing a lot of people eating 4-egg omelets, sometimes 6-egg omelets. Okay, just because they're 0 doesn't mean you should eat that many, unless you're the 6'6", 285-pound, probably guy. Really probably guy, 6'6". But yeah, so that, even though a serving is 1 egg, a portion for somebody that's that tall, muscular, just a big guy, might be 4 eggs. A serving for me is 1 egg. 1 egg. And if I'm really hungry, I might make a 2nd egg, or I might add some egg whites to it. But yeah, so that's a serving is 1 egg, not 4 eggs because they're 0. 1 egg. If you want 4 eggs, do it. Okay, real quick. Don't run away. Don't leave me, because I'm going to show you how to adjust a serving size on a recipe. So everybody knows, hopefully, how to use the recipe builder. If you don't, we do have a chat for that, so you can, so you can go back and watch that. I'm sorry, I don't have the number there, but I want to show you one things. Yeah, Cheryl. So, Cheryl, there's nothing wrong with eating 2 eggs. There's absolutely nothing wrong with eating 2 eggs. Just know that's your portion. That's not a serving size. Okay. So, and Liz, we're not gonna. So sorry, but we are not gonna sidetrack. WW makes their own changes every few years, and it always just gets better and better and better. But anyway, so real quick on the recipe builder. So one thing. get asked about a lot. Soup, chili, things that are going to have a lot of vegetables, a lot of maybe some lean proteins, beans, corn, and a lot of water added to them. And people are like, I have no idea how many servings that is. I have no idea. So do something like this. This pot right here, it's just a stock pot, does not have any markings on them, does not have any markings on it. My big silver one that we used a couple of weeks ago has markings on the inside, but that's a cheater, so I wanted to show you all this one. If I look on the bottom of this, it says it is a 6-quart pan, but I used a measuring cup and with water, and I filled it up to a reasonable, and I'm not going to pick it up because it's heavy, but I filled it up to a reasonable height in the pan. It only holds, so a 6-quart pan would hold, if it really was 6 quarts, like if I filled it all the way to the top, that would be 24 cups. But it actually only comfortably holds 16 cups. So if I'm making a recipe and I get it filled up to what my comfort level is right here, then I know, because I've done this before, I know that that is 16 cups. And then I know, oh, okay, when I put it in Recipe Builder, I'm going to say that it's 16 cup, it's a 16 cup serving. 16 servings for this recipe. So if you put something in the Recipe Builder and let's just use that for example. So let's say you're making chili, you're making a big pot of 0-point chili. It's got turkey and lots of vegetables and beans and things, tomatoes and corn in it. And you know that you're getting it up to 16 cups in your pan, like this, because you've already stopped, taken some water and a measuring cup, and you figured out how much will go in there. Then you're going to tell the Recipe Builder that it has 16 servings because there's 16 1-cup servings. My opinion, soup, chili, anything like that, it's going to be 1 cup per serving. But let me show you with this real quick. And then if you decide you want your portion to be 1.5 cups or 2 cups or whatever, you can adjust accordingly, and the points are going to go up or down depending on your portion size, but you'll know the serving size is 1 cup. This is something that John and I made tonight, or I made it tonight, and John and I ate it tonight. This is going to be a creamy beefy tot bake. So it does have tater tots and it's got cheddar cheese soup and things like that. But when I was making it, I put it in an 8x8 pan and I wanted it to be 4 servings. So I put into Recipe Builder, and I'm going to show you this. And no, this recipe's not up yet. I'll try to get up as soon as I can on IfYouHaveAnEgg.com. And remember, Jessica's working on that now. Okay, so there is my creamy, and I'm not going to keep you all night. It's already 3 after. So if you can see it, there is the creamy beefy top bake, and I have put it into Recipe Builder. And if you don't know how to use Recipe Builder, there is another chat for that. But I put in there, once I put my ingredients in, or while I was putting my ingredients in, I put, hopefully you can see it, that there were 4 servings. Okay, so 4 servings, because it was an 8x8 pan. That seemed reasonable to me. This is a 1/4 of that 8x8 pan. So, you can see that's a nice little size. I don't have to worry about, is this a cup? Is it a cup and a 1/4? Is it a blah, 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 blah? It's just a 1/4 of everything that I put into the Recipe Builder that went into that pan. So this is 1/4 of it. And I'm not wound up about if it's a cup or a 1.5 cups or whatever. It's a 1/4 of what I put in that pan. But I took out a 1/4 of it, and then when John and I were eating it, because I had enough points and I was hungry, not just because it was there, but I was actually hungry because we didn't have much for lunch today, and we hand washed the Jeep. So so this serves 4. So I had tracked a serving as I had tracked it, as 1 serving. But if I wanted my portion, if I was going to do it, oh, hold on. I didn't mean to click on that. Hold on just a second. So let's say, for example, that I was going to start only making it last 3. Then you can click on the edit and the number that it's going to serve, take off the 4 and change it to 3 and update it. And now I've got 9. Or if I thought, I don't know, that's an awful lot of points. I still love this recipe, but I want to try and make it 6. So I want to try and make it or 7 or 8. I want to try and make it only 4 points. I want to try to get it to where it's only 4 points. Well, then if you just keep playing with the Recipe Builder, hopefully y'all can see that. If you keep playing with the Recipe Builder, I had to take it to 8 servings, which would be totally easy to do in that. And 8 changing it to 8 servings makes it only 4 smart points. And then when you get ready to track it, if I decided to eat 2 servings of it, it would just pop right back up to 6. Okay, so hopefully that explains the difference between a serving size and a portion size. So again, a serving size is what the standardized measurement is, and the portion size, let's see, serving size is the standardized amount. It's going to be on all your nutrition labels, anything like this. It's the serving size. That's what the serving size is going to be. WW is always going to show you the points in a serving size. A portion size is how much you choose to eat, and that's all going to be dependent on how hungry you are, how many points you have, how big, maybe how big you are. That's going to make a big difference. So hopefully that explained everything. I hope that you all will take that and that you will use it for your good. I hope that's what you all were looking for. My people who were looking for a chat on serving sizes, please let me know how I did. Let me know if that's what you were looking for, or if I need to head in a different direction. And now everybody wish me luck as I try to not eat this open peanut butter. So yeah, that's going to be a hard one. So I'm going to go figure out how to put that up without eating it. And let's see if we can get Dusty over here to tell us goodnight. Don't forget to do your homework from part 1. It does look like the majority of the people, and somebody tell me, it looks like the majority of the people do still want Casey to do the videos as one, when she does them on YouTube, as one long one that is the chat. It's the classroom portion and the extra credit. And then the second one, just keep it at the 30 minutes of extra credit. No, and Angie, this is 8 points. I don't have 8 points tonight to put this. Yes, that would be delicious on this apple, on this smaller apple, but I don't have 8 points for that tonight. Okay, Dusty, you gonna say goodnight? Okay, let me see if I can get Dusty over here to say goodnight. Come on, buddy. Oh, he's going, it doesn't smell like meat, Mama. I don't want to get up. Come here. He's thinking this is a bait and switch because it smells like peanut butter instead of smelling like meat over here tonight. But okay, so I will try to get the recipes on there. Please use the recipe builder. Yes, Tedder's exactly just said, love the recipe builder, determines what the growing boys around here get for dinner. Seriously, I mean, it makes such a huge difference. But Dusty, tell everybody good night. We will have Alyssa tomorrow. Thank you all again, everyone who was at Wednesday night's extra chat. Thank you again for that, for the launch of KCKitchenCenter.com. And now we'll get to work on IfYouHaveAnEgg.com. But good night, everybody. It was so good to see you. If you're watching this later on YouTube, please watch the next video, subscribe, or you can order a spreadshirt over here. And I'm going to tell y'all good night. See you next week. Good night.